Hey everyone, it's Deb Frischman here. I'm on today to talk about 2020, the year 2020. It's going to be a magical year. There's so much to come, amazing things to come. I'm so excited. It's a year 4, and what does that mean? In numerology, it's a year 4, and it means that it's a year of building things of lasting value. And it's a year where we roll up our sleeves and we get to work. So the time is here, the energy's around us to make changes. And we want to tap into what is it that we want to change? What habits do we want to let go of? What habits do we want to form? New habits. And I would just suggest, recently I've done an activity that I got from a book called The Illusion of Money by Kyle Cease. In that book, there is an activity where you write down what you do in a normal day. And I just did the morning, because to me, your morning practice is everything. If you set your day up right in the morning, everything else will go into place. And it'll be smooth, and you'll be in the flow, and you'll be in aligned and have ease. And so I did morning, and you can do, what do you do normally in the morning? What's your typical morning look like? I wake up at this time, I have a cup of coffee, I journal, I go work out, I make a smoothie, I take a hot shower, whatever it is that you do. And then you go through and you rate them 1 to 10. 10 meaning, wow, I'm expanded, and 1 meaning I'm contracted, and it doesn't give me much joy. It's taking from me, it's depleting my energy. And it's a really great activity. So, for instance, coffee, I would give my coffee a 10. I would rate it a 10, having my cup of coffee, because it's a cup of coffee, and I hold that cup of coffee and I sip it, and I'm intentionally drinking it, and I love every moment of it. And so I give it a 10, and where somebody else might give it a 3 or a 2 because they drink 2 pots of coffee and they don't feel they get all anxious. So those are the things you're tapping into, like what habits are serving you and what habits aren't, and what do you want to add. And so when you create habits, habits are meant to be formed over time. People give up way too soon. And so I would say the number 1 word you're going to want to remember is commitment. We want to have commitment for 2020. And the next word is consistency. Be consistent. And so if you want to, let's say, you want to get healthier, lose some weight, and you go to the gym for 10 days and you don't see results, so you give up. Or you want to learn how to meditate, and you try it 5 times, and your mind is, you got monkey mind, and it's just, and you're like, it's not for me, it's too hard, And so that is, you're giving up too soon. So you want to go from, it's going to start out where you're learning and it might feel uncomfortable. And then over time, it gets easier and easier, instead of going, and you'll go from, I have to do this, to I want to do this. And so when you think about people who work out every day, they want to go work out. It's easy for them. It's their habit. It's their go-to. They can't even imagine not doing it. Or meditating every day. It's just, they want to meditate because they know that they're connecting with their higher self, with God. They're aligning, and they know the results of that. So a habit takes time. Be committed. Have consistency. And also focus on what you want and not what you don't want, because year 4 is all about quick manifestations. And I had perfect examples while I was on our last vacation. My husband and I went to the Bahamas after the holidays, and things were happening. Like, I was telling him I really, really, really want a pina colada. I have one pina colada on a vacation because they're so sweet, and I always save it for the perfect time. And we're sitting there in the sun, and it's just like that perfect time, and I'm talking about it, and in walks two of the servers there, and one of them is carrying one pina colada and the other one's carrying the other, and they walk right up and they're walking, and I'm like, are those for us? Like, what? And they walk right up to us and hand Tim his drink and hand me a drink, and I was just like, oh my gosh. I told them, I'm like, I was just thinking I wanted this, and now you just brought it to me. And they're like, just smiled and walked away. And then we're at the pool, and I'm a shade girl. Tim likes to be in the sun, and he's in the pool, and he's in the pool, and I'm in the shade, and I'm talking to him. It's about 12 o'clock lunchtime, and I'm like, hey, I'm getting kind of hungry. I think you should go get us a pizza. And he's like, yeah, I'm not really hungry, so how about we wait a little bit? I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting there thinking about my pizza, and I'm like, I think you should go get a pizza. He's like, yeah, how about in like an hour kind of attitude? And I'm like, maybe I should go get the pizza. And I look up, and one of the servers is walking towards with a pizza box, and he's coming towards me, and I'm like, no way, this pizza is not, someone ordered that pizza. And he walks and he plops it on my chair, and he's like, I thought you might want this. And I open it up, and it's a margarita pizza, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I would have ordered. I was like, okay, universe, you are really showing me you have a thought, and then it happens. Okay, now I'm gonna flip it. This is the point. I also got something that I didn't want on that vacation. I ended up with 200, or I didn't count them, but I'm guessing 200 bites on my legs from the sand mites, the no-see-ums. Not very fun, painful, itchy, second to last day. So let me back up. So the story is this. It's our first day. We had a wonderful first day, and it was windier, because wind, of course, you wouldn't have them with the wind. And then the next day, we have neighbors next to us. He comes off the deck, and he introduces himself, and he says, hey, I'm just wondering, does this beach, this area have those sand mites, no-see-ums, because they really get me. And I said, no, we were out all day yesterday and last night and didn't get one bite. And I said, I'm really susceptible to them, and so if they were here, I'd for sure know. So no, there aren't any. And he goes, oh good, because I really get them too. And so that was the second day. Every day since he asked me about these bugs, I kept thinking, I don't want to get those bites. I don't want bites. I don't want to get those bites. They're miserable. I don't want those bites. And so I'd be on the beach and in the sand, and I would be thinking about, I'd be even lifting my legs off onto the chair so I wouldn't be touching the sand in case I got bit by these bites. And guess what? Day 5, we go for a walk, no wind, it's the sunset, it's perfect time for these, and I got eaten, and my legs are just covered. And so I asked for it. I kept thinking, I don't want the bites, and the universe hears bites, bites, bites. And so anyways, I'm just going to tell you, focus on what your thoughts are. Put it towards what you want. It's so important. I have my journal here, and my partner, Becca, presented this activity at our last day retreat, which was phenomenal. And the activity is to journal about being a conscious creator and creating what you really do want in your life. And so here's my journal. I am a conscious creator. And then you talk in present tense. I love my life. I woke up vibrant, as always. I remembered, and just so I'm not going to redo my whole conscious creation. Maybe someday I will. And so it's in present tense. It's already happened. I talked about my book selling millions and being on the Super Soul Sunday show and all of that, and speaking and getting asked to speak all the time. And I wrote this Monday. Today I woke up and someone asked me if I'd want to speak at their group. And I'm like, of course, because I wrote it and I believe it and I'm reading it. So be a conscious creator. think about what you want, not what you don't want. It's really important, and it can. I know sometimes it's people spend their time focusing on what they're worried about, what they fear. We need to be more conscious and aware of what our thoughts are. And you know what? You're going to have that pina colada show up and that margarita pizza and a speaking opportunity. I'm telling you guys, it works. So 2020, epic, you guys. It's the time to do things that you have been wanting to do in a long time. It's time to step it up. I'm stepping up. I'm leveling up. The group that I'm working with, we have a 9-month group. They're up leveling all the time. Reach out to me if you have questions. If you want me to, I would love to work with you, and even just a session to get you started on all this. Reach out. I'd love to meet you and see what your intentions are for 2020. All right, thanks for joining. Have a fabulous day.